The Era of Good Feelings is known as the period in time between 1815 and 1825 where people united through nationalism after the War of 1812, where there was a collapse of the Federalist Party and there was only one political party in power, which was the Democratic Republicans. The president during this period was James Monroe, and this time was known for economic growth and territorial expansion. During Monroe's presidency, Henry Clay came up with the idea of the American system in 1816 for economic development in the U.S. This system was made to make the nation stronger with the use of a national bank as a second boss, which was seen as a bank for banks to manage the currency for the U.S. There was also the use of the Tariff Act of 1816, where the U.S. imposed 25% tax on most imported factory goods. And lastly, the use of a national transportation system was proposed to build a national road using federal money and to build canals, one which led from Albany to Buffalo, which was known as the Erie Canal. Due to the use of the second bus, there was a demanded loan payment from banks, mostly to farmers, that caused a chain reaction of banks to close, and this was known as the Panic of 1819. During this time, we had a sectional balance of slave states and free states. As we started to expand the U.S. territory, the state of Missouri wanted to join the Union as a slave state. This, however, could not happen because it would ruin the sectional balance of the states. So in order for Missouri to enter the Union as a slave state, a compromise was set known as the Missouri Compromise, or the Compromise of 1812, where Missouri would enter as a slave state. However, Maine would have to join the Union as a free state. This created the idea of the 3630 line, where any territory above the 3630 line is a free state and anything below is a slave state. While Monroe was president, there was also 3 foreign policies put in place. The first was with England, known as the Rush-Bagot Agreement, which said that the border between Canada and the U.S. will have a limited military presence. The second policy was the Adams-Onis Treaty, which allowed the U.S. to purchase Florida from Spain for $5 million. Along with this treaty was the Seminole Wars, which was a fight between the Native American tribes in Florida with the U.S. for the land. The last policy was the Monroe Doctrine, where Secretary of State John Quincy Adams established a policy of protecting the autonomy of the nations in the Western Hemisphere. This allowed the U.S. to act as a police and protect everyone in the Western Hemisphere. During the election of 1824, there were 4 candidates: John Quincy Adams, Andrew Jackson, William Crawford, and Henry Clay. There was a split between the popular vote between Adams and Jackson, and no one had the majority, but there was a corrupt bargain, and Henry Clay gave his votes to Adams, and Adams won the presidency. This was the end of the Era of Good Feelings. Thank you for watching, and hope you learned something new.